Ever been in a situation and thought, how did I get here? The puppet strings may be invisible, but today we're cutting them loose. Ready to take back control? Number 1, gaslighting. Starting off with a big one, gaslighting. This is where someone tries to make you doubt your reality by denying facts or twisting the truth. Imagine someone borrowing your book and then denying they ever took it. It's like they're rewriting history and, if done repeatedly, it can make you doubt your own memory or judgment. Number 2, love bombing. This is the classic too good to be true scenario. A manipulator showers you with love and attention only to later use it as leverage. Think of it as a bait and switch. They lure you in with affection, then suddenly go cold, leaving you craving that initial warmth. Number 3, silent treatment. We've all been there. Suddenly there's an atmosphere in the room and you can't help but feel like you're walking on eggshells. When manipulators employ this tactic, it's not out of forgetfulness or just needing space, it's a calculated move. By strategically withholding communication or affection, they play on basic human psychology. We, as social beings, crave interaction, understanding, and validation. Deprived of these, we can often find ourselves in a whirlpool of self-doubt, reanalyzing our actions, overthinking conversations, and, in severe cases, even questioning our worth. It's a pressure tactic designed to make you feel off-balanced and consequently more willing to bend over backward to return to the manipulator's good graces. Number 4, victim card. Picture this. You muster up the courage to address an issue, ready to have a productive conversation. But instead, you find yourself consoling the very person responsible for the problem. It's like entering a room to put out a fire, only to find yourself blamed for starting it. Manipulators are adept at turning tables, making you feel like the perpetrator when, in reality, you are the aggrieved. They don this mask of vulnerability, making you feel guilty, sometimes even making you apologize for things they did. It's a sneaky way to avoid accountability and, when repeated often, can establish a cycle where they're always the victim and you're perpetually walking on eggshells. Number 5, triangulation. Triangulation is a term that sounds like it's straight out of a geometry class, but trust me, it's far more intricate than that. Picture a triangle. 3 points, 3 sides. Now, in the game of manipulation, triangulation involves 3 players. The manipulator, you, and a third party. Instead of addressing issues directly, they bring in this third party either as a means to validate their narrative or to make you doubt your stance. Even Sam thinks you're overreacting. And just like that, it's not just their word against yours, they've skillfully added weight to their side of the scale. This tactic can cause rifts between friends or colleagues and often leaves you feeling isolated or outnumbered. Number 6, moving the goalposts. You might be familiar with the phrase chasing the horizon. No matter how far you go, it always seems distant, unreachable. Moving the goalpost is somewhat similar. Just when you feel you've met their expectations or demands, suddenly the benchmark changes. It's like training for a marathon only to be told mid-race that the finish line has been extended by another 10 miles. The objective? To keep you in a perpetual state of inadequacy, always hustling, always trying to do more, be more. And as you're so engrossed in this relentless chase, you end up becoming more malleable to the manipulator's desires and control. Number 7, negging. This tactic is a masterclass in subtlety. Imagine receiving a compliment wrapped in a layer of criticism or vice versa. It's as if someone handed you a rose but pricked you with its thorns. Comments like, "You're really ambitious for someone with your background," or "I'm surprised someone like you could come up with such a smart point," are designed to play on your insecurities. The aim? To make you seek validation, to make you want to prove yourself to them, which inevitably gives them power over your self-esteem and actions. Number 8, playing dumb. You've met them, those individuals who always seem blissfully unaware when it's convenient for them. Playing dumb is an age-old tactic, yet its effectiveness remains unscathed. When a manipulator feigns ignorance or pretends not to understand, it's more than just forgetfulness or innocence. This act of innocent confusion is deliberate. By acting oblivious, they dodge responsibilities, evade difficult conversations, and skirt around commitments. "Oh, I didn't know you wanted that report by today," or "Was that today's meeting? I completely forgot." Such statements are designed to put you in a quandary. Should you call them out and appear confrontational, or let it slide for peace's sake? Either way, the manipulator sidesteps the blame, and you're left juggling the aftermath. Number 9, guilt tripping. Take a journey with me down memory lane where you might recall being guilt-tripped into doing something you weren't initially inclined to. This psychological maneuver is a manipulator's special skill. By inducing feelings of guilt, whether by playing on your emotions, past actions, or even societal expectations, they compel you to act in ways that cater to their wants and needs. After all I've done for you, you won't do this one thing for me? Sound familiar? This is emotional manipulation at its finest, forcing you into a corner where any choice you make seems selfish or ungrateful, unless it aligns with the manipulator's desires. Over time, you may find yourself constantly bending over backward, fearful of seeming inconsiderate or uncaring. Number 10. Projecting. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. Instead of your reflection, you see someone else's flaws and insecurities. This is what projecting feels like. Manipulators, often grappling with their own insecurities and shortcomings, deflect these onto you. "You're always so jealous," or "Why are you overthinking everything?" are classic examples. By shifting the spotlight from their issues to your supposed flaws, they cleverly divert attention. It's like a magician's trick. While you're focused on one hand, you're oblivious to what the other is doing. Suddenly, you find yourself on the defense, trying to refute claims about characteristics that don't resonate with your true self. Number 11. Intermittent reinforcement. Picture this. You're at a casino sitting in front of a slot machine. Most times you get nothing, but occasionally, just occasionally, you hit the jackpot. That's what keeps you hooked, right? Intermittent reinforcement is the principle at work here. A manipulator won't always be cold and distant. There will be days of warmth, affection, and praise. But then, out of the blue, they'll turn distant, critical, or indifferent. This unpredictable pattern, much like the slot machine, keeps you hoping for those moments of positivity, making you more tolerant of the negative stretches. It's a powerful method, making you believe that if you behave a certain way or make specific choices, you can regain those moments of happiness or validation. Number 12. False equivalence. There are arguments that seem sound on the surface but crumble under scrutiny. One such deceptive tactic is false equivalence. It's the art of drawing parallels between two fundamentally dissimilar events or situations, masking it as a fair comparison. Think of it like comparing the rhythm of rainfall to the complexity of a Shakespearean play, both beautiful but in entirely different universes. A manipulator might say, "You get upset when I borrow your clothes without asking, yet you use my Netflix account." While both situations involve sharing, the context, boundaries, and implications differ vastly. The motive here is to bamboozle you and entangle you in a web of flawed logic, making it challenging to argue your stance without appearing hypocritical. Number 13. Catastrophizing. Picture a quiet pond, calm and serene. Now imagine dropping a tiny pebble into it. The ripples, albeit small and short-lived, distort the stillness momentarily. Catastrophizing is when someone takes that tiny pebble of an event and describes it as though a boulder crashed into a pond, creating tidal waves. Every slight misstep, every small error becomes the end of the world. By exaggerating the implications of minor inconveniences or mistakes, a manipulator creates an atmosphere of perpetual crisis. This heightened state of alarm often leaves you anxious, always treading lightly, trying desperately not to mess up. Their aim? To keep you off balance, ensuring you're so engrossed in preventing disasters that you're easy to control and manipulate. Number 14. Withholding information. Knowledge is power, and the person who controls information wields this power. By selectively sharing or deliberately concealing details, a manipulator ensures you're navigating a maze blindfolded. It's like trying to complete a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces. You can never see the full picture, and as such, you can't make wholly informed decisions. "I didn't think you needed to know," or "It must have slipped my mind," are their go-to phrases. The inherent uneven power dynamic this creates ensures you're often reliant on them, seeking their guidance or approval, thereby cementing their control over the narrative and, by extension, over you. Number 15. Feigned ignorance. Wrapped in the guise of innocence, this tactic is a masterstroke in the manipulator's playbook. It's the strategic, "Who, me?" act. By feigning a lack of knowledge or understanding, the manipulator creates the illusion of harmlessness. This is a tactical move to avoid confrontation, responsibility, or to remain in a favorable light. "I had no idea you'd feel this way," or "I genuinely didn't realize this would upset you." Sound familiar? This faux naivety serves as a shield, guarding them against accountability, while you, possibly feeling guilty for misjudging them, let down your guard. You've begun to unravel the mind games? Now dive deeper into relationship dynamics with 15 signs it's time to let a best friend go, or 17 signs you're in a toxic relationship. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found this video helpful, please show your support with a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe for more.